Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. So, very exciting. We're gonna talk about not only what will happen, what we expect to happen before end of the year, and of course, ang pinaka-importante, what will happen for 2026. No? At least, what we think yung mga kailangan natin bantayan. No? Okay, so just to recap, no, para may idea kayo ano ba yung pinag-usapan natin at the start of the year, what went right and what went wrong. So this is a review of what we forecasted at the start of the year and ano yung naging result niya. So this is how we positioned 2025. So we said that position yourself for a lower interest rate, go to stocks, sell dollars, we expect dollar to weaken, go for gold, and of course, real estate would be a good opportunity. Okay, and then what happened? So this is what we call as the Kalan periodic table of returns. So far for this year, this is how the market has performed. As you can see, the top two, na the highest and the second highest na best performing market or investment is the emerging market and the DM market or the developed market. So by the way, for those for the benefit of those who doesn't understand how this work, makikita mo kanina diba may mga taon, 'di ba? May 2020, 21, 22. So bawat color na yan represents different asset classes. So what happens here is if you are, let's say, looking at 2024, the one that is in the highest, that was the best performing market for that particular year. Yung pinakababa, that was the worst performing market for that particular year. So para malaman mo kung ano yung sinabi natin nung start of the year and were we able to hit it or not, let's now find out ano nangyari nung 2025. So far, year to date, this is how it performed. So the highest is emerging market. This is because of China and Vietnam. Developed market, it is because mainly of US and Japan. So we got this right. We said that US will do very well. China will be the alpha, will be the one that will give you the bigger boost. So true, we got this right. Number two, we said that cash is the worst. True enough, cash is the worst. If you look at the bottom, if you stay in cash, that's the worst investment that you have done. Now, ano nangyari in the middle? We said we were bullish in the bond market as well. Now, ang bond market, umaakyat yan for a very specific condition, and that is when interest rate is going down. Now, it so happened, unfortunately, in 2025, the interest rate that we were expecting na bababa, it went down, but it did not go down as much as we wanted. So, the bond market still posted a positive return, but ang pinaka nangyari doon is it was underperforming on what we expected sa dapat mangyari. Now, very interesting here is you can see that REIT is also one of the worst performing in the market. But the recommended fund that we gave that is related to REIT was doing very well this year. In fact, the data will say that is saying that it returned an average of about 20% so far. We also said that the dollar will weaken. Did it weaken? Yes, it weakened a lot. And if you look at the end portion of 2025, medyo paakyat siya. So ano kayang ibig sabihin niyan sa 2026 kaya? Diretso kaya paakyat yan? Will the dollar strengthen or eventually the dollar will continue to weaken? Pag-uusapan natin mamaya yan. We also said that gold will go up. In fact, we forecasted that gold will hit all-time high. Now, what's funny is we were only forecasting it to hit 3,000. And guess what? Ano nangyari? Not only that it hit 3,000, it hit 4,000, it even hit 4,300. Now it's back around 4,000 level. So here we got it also correct. Okay, now, so what's very important, now that you know ano yung what we did right and what we did wrong, let's now move to 2026. Ano ngayon ang ina-expect natin this 2026? First, if you look at GDP globally will continue to do well. So you see global market, we expect to grow by 3.1% next year. And interestingly, the highest growth that we are looking at will be Philippines. Now, we will always ask, bakit Philippines, Melvin, nakakapagtaka naman with all of this corruption and so on and so forth? Because interestingly, we expected that the GDP this year will not do well. No, so ang pinaka nakakatawa kasi diyan, if it did not do well this year, it will do well next year because it's always a percentage of growth. So that's why next year we expect that it will hit 5.6%. Now globally, China we expect that will continue to do well. Japan, even Japan will also do well. Now, in terms of inflation, we expect inflation to go up a bit, especially for the Philippines. So ngayon, ang inflation natin is about 1.6%. But interestingly enough, ang inflation, yes, gusto mo mababa ang inflation mo, but interestingly, ayaw mo rin ng masyadong mababa ang inflation mo. So the sweet spot is somewhere in the 2%. So that's also one of the reason why we expect Philippines to cut interest rate this year and going to next year because the government want to stimulate the economy. Okay? Now, ito ang pinakamalaking question. Ito yung when I did a survey, ito yung pinaka number one question palagi ng mga tao sa akin. Okay? Bakit biglang umaandar? Sandali. Okay, so will there be a bubble? Will there be a bubble? Okay, sasagutin ko yan. Okay. Guys, by the way, if you think that there will be a bubble or at the very least takot kayo magka-bubble, can you press the thumbs up? Can you press the thumbs up para malaman ko lang kung kayo mismo kinakabahan ba kayo? Kinakabahan ba? Bakit sabi sa Facebook magkaka-bubble daw? Ganyan, di ba? O, tingnan natin. First of all, if you are afraid na magkaka-bubble, you are not alone. Naku, grabe, ang dami naman yan. You are not alone. In fact, in the last 3 weeks, in the Google search, the highest search was AI bubble or stock market bubble. So, totoo yon. Ang daming tao nag-search sa Google, ang pinakamaraming sinearch in the last 3 weeks is AI bubble or stock market bubble. So if you're feeling the same way, you are not alone. That's a global thinking now, okay? So in the double I bull bear survey, people are now even saying that the market is already going to the bear market. Okay? And dagdagan pa natin yon. In the CNN Fear Engaged Agreed Index, ang ang level natin ngayon is in the extreme fear index. In fact, bumaba pa yan ng 6, hindi ko lang na-capture. I even got a comment, sabi, itong CNN Fear and Greed Index, pwede ba maging negative yon? Hindi naman, no? But the lower the number is, the more that the people are fearful. So, if you're afraid, you are not alone. Okay? Now, do we think that there is going to be an AI bubble? I will be able to share with you ano yung nakikita namin. First is, if you look at the black line, that is the S&P market, the index. Pag nakita mo, talagang shook, ang laki ng inaakyat, correct? But you see, one of the most interesting portion in the increase in the index is actually ang binabantayan nyo dapat, yung tinatawag na earnings per share. So you see, kung ang stock price mo umaakyat, pero yung earnings niya hindi umaakyat, delikado yan. So parang meron kang example restaurant. Yung restaurant mo is worth 10 million. You're only earning 100,000. And then suddenly naging 20 million but it's still earning 100,000. Talagang ibig sabihin nun, napakamahal na nung restaurant mo. So para malaman mo kung mahal yung restaurant mo o hindi, dapat minamatch mo yan doon sa tinatawag natin na earnings. Yung presyo niya at yung kita niya. So kung tumataas yung presyo niya, tumataas din yung kita niya, that is okay. Ibig sabihin nun, yung multiple mo is still controlled. Okay? Hindi pa rin siya mahal. Okay? Now, sinasabi nila ba't Melvin, ang pinaka-problem daw ngayon is if you look at the stock market, the top 10 companies or the top 5, the top 4 is now contributing the majority of the increase in the stock market. So sobrang concentrated daw sa AI yung pag-akyat ng S&P. Is that true? Yes, that's true. But only because if you look at the earnings growth per sector, the one that is really driving the earnings growth is actually the tech sector. The big six. Sila talaga yung pinakamalaking inaakyat na revenue. Then of course, you followed by finance and the rest of the tech. If you look at the top three, no, two of the three are all related to tech. So talagang justifiable na sila talaga ang nagko-contribute ng pag-akyat ng US stock market. So look at this one. Google, his estimate in terms of increase in earnings is only 5%. Ended up, his increase in earnings, yung inakyat ng income niya, 33%. Meta from 10 to almost 20. Microsoft 11 to 12 or 13. Apple from 5.4 to 10, doble. Amazon from 14 to 41. And even Nvidia, na sobrang laki na ng increase ng kanyang estimated earnings, na outbeat pa rin niya yung actual. So people are expecting 50% ang increase ng earnings niya. Guess what? It was not 50, it was 60. Di ba? So that's why it's the reason why siya talaga ang nagda-drive ng stock market. Okay? Now, if I now compare that to the dot-com bubble versus today, sinasabi nila it's different. Yes, because it is. Let's look at the forward PE. Forward PE nung panahon ng dot-com bubble is about 65. Today, it's about 30, less than 30. So siguro, for the benefit of the people in this room na medyo nagsisimula pa lang mag-invest, ano mang ibig sabihin ng PE? Okay? Hindi yan physical education. So, ang ibig sabihin yan is price to earnings. So, how do I relate that? So, for example, let's say, I will buy a restaurant. Yung restaurant ko na ginawa ko is worth 5 million. 5 million yung restaurant na yon. So, pinuhunan ko 5 million. So, ibig sabihin nun, kung kumikita ako ng 1 million every year, okay, at 5 million yung puhunan ko, 5 million yung buong business, ibig sabihin nun, 5 million, divided by 1 million, that's 5. So, the PE is 5. So, ibig sabihin nun, if that same 5 million, at ang earnings ko lang ay 500,000, so 500,000 ay 5 million divided by 500,000, 10. Ano ibig sabihin nun? The higher the number, the more expensive it is. So, you see, para malaman nyo where we are now compared to the dot-com bubble, we're even less than half in terms of valuation. Now, I'm not saying that at this current level, it's cheap. It's expensive. It's expensive. At this level, it's expensive. My only point is, if you're comparing it to the dot-com bubble, medyo napakalayo pa talaga. Napakalayo niya. Okay? Free cash flow is very healthy. Ibig sabihin ng free cash flow, kumikita ba? Kumikita ba siya? Yes, they're all earning much better compared to the dot-com bubble. Okay, net profit, very healthy. Return on equity is also double compared to the dot-com bubble. So you see, if you look at how they spend, kasi sasabihin naman, but Melvin, sabi sa akin, ang laki daw ng ginagastos nila. That's true. If you look at Mama is the shortcut for Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, and Alphabet. Yes, that's true. Ang laki ng ginagastos nila, but in terms of how they spend it, kinukuha nila yon sa kita nila. So, ang difference nun, in the dot-com bubble, yung ginagastos nila, inuutang nila. Ngayon, yung ginagastos nila, kinita na nila yon. It is a cash that they have already earned. So, they're not borrowing to expand or to increase their capex. Okay? Okay, so sinasabi nila yung circular trade, that is also true, nangyayari yan. So AI invested in OpenAI, Nvidia invested in OpenAI, OpenAI invested in Oracle, Oracle invested in Nvidia, and this is just one example. So meron kayong makikita na si AMD naman, si OpenAI, etc., etc. But you see, tama na nangyayari yan, but the biggest difference is, if you look at this happening today versus the dot-com bubble, again, Ang pinaka-difference is, NVIDIA investing in OpenAI, he is using his own money. Hindi niya inuutang yon. And he's only using a very small amount of his money. He's only spending 5% ng kinita niya. Okay? So, hindi man lang nga niya inuubos. It's just 5%. So, it looks big because you're talking about billions. But what you don't realize, in terms of how much they earned, whatever that number is that they invested in OpenAI is just a very small fraction. Okay? So, yun ang pagkakaiba ng dot-com bubble and today. Okay, so do we think that there's gonna be a bubble already? Okay, well, the answer is, so far, not yet. Not yet. Why? Because now, if they're going to invest, majority of their investment are not debt, they pay it in cash. Stocks are not too expensive. They're expensive, but not too expensive in comparison to the dot bubble. And you see, the more compelling reason is this AI, this AI is actually a race between US and China. It's not a matter of income only. It's a matter of national security. I was chatting with Dino earlier, and you know what I was saying? If you look at Nancy Pelosi, if you look at Donald Trump, if you look at a lot of the congressmen, look at one of their biggest holdings is NVIDIA. Okay? Because this is already about the race between China and the US. Okay? What else? Chips are being used. So, binibili yung chip because kailangan. Kasi ginagamit siya. So, hindi lang siya binibili para lang may stock ka. Hindi katulad dati nung dot-com bubble. Basta gawin natin, bahala na kung may maggamit ng internet. Ngayon, baliktad. Ngayon, it's the exact opposite. There's a backlog. Okay? Revenue is real, it's not circular. But, okay, let me just put a caveat. There is a wild card here. And what is the wild card? Sabi ko sa inyo kanina, the good news is, a lot of these AI companies are already earning. In fact, they're earning even above of what the estimates are. But, remember, so far, ganyan lang ang nangyayari pa. Ang binabantayan natin ngayon is in the next couple of months, in the next couple of years, yung revenue na in-expect mong ma-generate nila ay nahihit ba nila? Kasi pag hindi nila nahit yon, tama kayo, bubble na yan. So that's why, very important, all of you to always stay tuned to our discussion like this so that you will always be updated. Kailan na ba kailangan lumabas? Okay? Yan. Now, I want to add this in my discussion because it's so unjustifiable if I do not discuss this. Finding the next alpha. So you will always hear na sinasabi nila, US market, pasok ka lang sa US, pabayaan mo lang yan, in the long run, you will do well. Is that true? Yes. Everything may up and down, but the general direction of the US market is fine. Packet siya. But you see, in your portfolio, you should always have an alpha. Ano ba itong alpha pinagsasabi mo, Melvin? Ang alpha is meron kang isang investment that will outperform the market. So, if you ask me, the alpha that I'm looking at may be your China. This year, just to give you a point of comparison, US market hit 12%, but China hit 20%, Hang Seng hit 35%. Now, you will tell me, Melvin, baka mahal na. Laki na pala ng inakyat di ba? Okay. So, para makita nyo yung history, here's how it looked like. If you look at 10 years ago, if I use 2016 as the base, if I invested in the US market, my money would have grown by 28% already. Whereas if I invested in China or in Hong Kong, my money would only be increasing by 28 or 18%. So ganun kalayo pa yung inakyat ng US versus yung inakyat pa lang ng China. So you see, ang tanong ngayon dito, kung ganito kalaki yung disparity, and China is now the second largest economy in the world, justifiable ba na ganito kalaki yung difference ng number 1 saka number 2? Let's think about it. Okay? Now, in terms of forward PE, remember, pinag-usapan natin kanina yung forward PE, yung kita. If you buy one Amazon, you're buying 2 Alibaba. So you see, in the AI race, importanteng matalino ka. Importante yon. But you see, the biggest ingredient in the AI race is not just intelligence. It's data. It's data. So if you look at a lot of the AI-related companies, they all have one thing in common. They have data. Amazon have data. Kasi lahat ng binili nyo. Google have data. Lahat ng ginagawa ninyo. Alam nga niya na tinitingnan nyo yung bubble, yung AI bubble eh. Di ba? Facebook, alam din niya. Sa lahat ng may Facebook, alam niya ginagawa niya. Di ba? Ang ginagawa nyo. So, okay. If you remove all of those American companies, tanungin ko kayo, sino pa ba ang mga companies that will have this data? Alibaba, Tencent, Baidu, Meituan. Outside of the US, the one that can compete in the AI race is China because they have the data. Okay? Now, China will be the largest economy in 2050. It will be the largest economy in 2050, period. So it's not a matter if they will be the largest. It's just a question of when. So if you don't have China in your portfolio, you might be missing out an opportunity. Okay? Now, as early as 2024, they have already pivoted out of the US market. So hindi pa nila totally nilabas, but even before Trump winning the election, they have already reduced their dependency on the US market. Noong 2015, 14% of their export is going to the US. Now it's just 11 noong 2024. I bet you by end of 2025, you will see the data that will even be lower. Okay? Now, in China, unlike the US, so sa US, pag may sinabi si Trump, then yes, it might instill fear, people may react, but at the end of the day, it's just a reaction. But the difference between US and China, you see, China is still a socialist country. China still owns the biggest banks. China still owns the biggest insurance company. China still owns the biggest industries. So, kapag si China, meron siyang kailangan gawin, mas magagawa niya yon compare to the US counterpart. Okay? So, every year, meron tayong tinatawag na plenum. So, what the Chinese government do, they gather all the leaders and they will now map out how the future will look like. We're already at the 4th plenum. What did the 4th plenum, what did they discuss in the 4th plenum? This is what they discussed. Sinabi nila, in the industries that they have already overcapacity, sobrang lakas na natin dito, okay na yan, pabayaan mo na yan. In fact, gawin mo is i-update mo yung mga gamit mo. But other than that, they will not invest too much in this area anymore. Yung nasa gitna, they will want to improve it. So they want to make it more efficient, more automated, and so on and so forth. But look at the new frontier. That's where China wants to focus on. Again, anong difference ng China sa US? China easily can fund and help the companies. Okay, now, question. O sige, if you think this is a race, ano kaya yung chance na manalo si US? O ano kaya yung chance na manalo si China? Okay. So there are 9 areas for you to be able to go, 9 crucial domain for you to be able to be the leading in terms of technology. 9. So quantum computing, quantum mechanics, AI, biotech, okay, etc., etc. And if you look at the US and China, 9 out of 9, China is leading. And they are not just leading by a small margin. They are leading by a wide margin. Now, lahat ng to kailangan mo ng ingredient. Lahat ng to kailangan mo ng isang bagay para magawa siya. Ang tawag namin doon ay subfield. Baga parang ingredient. Meron ba siya? Nasa kanya ba yung ingredient? Guess what? Of the 9 most important component para magawa mo yung AI, 9, China is leading. 9. And again, they're not just leading by a margin. They're leading by a small margin. Hydrogen, the rare earth, coating, EVs, lahat nanggagaling sa kanila. See? Now, to be fair, are there any area that the US is leading? Yes, meron. There are about 6. Ito yon. Okay, quantum computing, small satellite, atomic clock, etc., etc. But you see, even if US is leading, they're not leading as big. Yung gap nila is not as big as yung where China is leading and yung gap niya with the US. See? So, okay. So, I hope that was a good learning. Let's now go to fixed income. You know, I always have a passion for fixed income because palaging naawa ko kay Mr. Fixed Income. Palagi sinasabi, fixed income, bonds, boring yan, malit kikitain yan. That is not true at all. Okay? So, let me share with you how the bond market work. Paano ka kumikita sa bond market? Lahat ng yan, para malaman mo kung paano ka kikita sa bond market, isang ingredient lang ang kailangan magaling ka. Ano yung ingredient na yon? Kailangan alam mo lang kung ano mangyari sa interest rate. Will interest rate goes up or will interest rate goes down? If interest rate goes up, that is not good for the bond. If interest rate goes down, that is good for the bond. Baliktad, maganda sa bond yon pag bumababa ang interest rate. So the question is, bakit bababa? Bakit tataas ang interest rate? Ano naman ang factor doon? Well, guess what? Ang biggest factor doon is inflation naman. So you see, inflation is highly related to interest rate. Okay, let me explain. So for example, let's say, si Arlene. So si Arlene ngayon, papunta ngayon siya sa Louis Vuitton, bibili siya ng bag. Okay, gusto niya bumili ng bag and yung bag niya is worth 100,000. But just before buying the bag, tinawagan ko si Arlene. Sabi ko, Arlene, meron akong interest dito na time deposit earning at 15%. So the question is, bibilin ba ni Arlene yung bag kung alam niya na may 15% na time deposit? Chances are, she will defer. Chances are, hindi niya bibilhin. So what happened there? So you see, when I increase interest rate, you are now demotivated to spend. Demotivated to spend. If I lower interest rate, I motivated you to spend. So, ano ba ang inflation? Ang inflation, mataas ang demand, mababa supply. So, anong gagawin ko? If I don't want you to spend, all I need to do is I increase interest rate. If I increase interest rate, ayaw mo na gumastos. Kung gusto kong gumastos ka, ibababa ko yung interest rate, gagastos ka. So, ngayon, nasaan na ang inflation? If you remember, noong 2022, inflation hit as high as 12%, 11%, 10% across countries, di ba? And where is inflation now? 2%, 3%, some 3.5 at most, but by far and large, all has already gone down. So you see, ang pinaka-problem naman is you cannot retain a high interest rate environment. Ayaw mo masyado mataas ang interest. Palagi. Hindi mo siya pwedeng i-retain. Kasi remember Arlene kanina, for as long as mataas yung interest rate, ayaw niyang gumastos. Guess what? It turns out si Arlene, si Beth, si Marian, lahat hindi gumastos. Ano nangyari ngayon dun sa tindahan ng Louis Vuitton? Guess what? Wala nang bumili. Walang bumili, di ba? So, nangyari nun, nung walang bumili, nalugi na ngayon si Louis Vuitton. Dahil nalugi si Louis Vuitton, natanggalan siya ng empleyado. Okay? So, kaya, very important that they balance that. So, now, if you want to grow your economy, binababa na natin ngayon yung interest rate. So, economy will start moving. And this is now going to this now happening worldwide. Okay, so just to give you an idea, ito yung nangyayari, at least the big ones, nakita niyo pababa lahat ang interest rate nila, except for BOJ that is going up. Bakit? Kasi ang inflation sa Japan ay sobrang taas ngayon. Bakit? Kasalanan niyo po yun kasi punta kayo lahat ng punta ng Japan. Okay, hindi, biro lang. Okay, biro lang. Okay? Yun. Okay, let's continue. So Melvin, sabi mo sa akin bababa ang interest rate. Or at least gusto natin bumaba yung interest rate, ay inflation rate, kasi pag mababa yung inflation rate, bababa din yung interest rate. So question, Melvin, sabi mo sa akin, kung paano mangyayari yun? Eh may tariff nga tayo. Di ba yung tariff nagpapamahal ng bilihin? Yes. Nagpapamahal ng bilihin ang tariff. And sa totoo lang, I will be very straightforward, the biggest risk is still the tariff. Still the tariff. But you see, you need to make a distinction between the inflation in the Philippines and inflation in the US. Yung inflation natin sa Pilipinas at inflation sa Amerika, hindi po pareho. Sa Pilipinas, rice is life. Ang biggest component ng inflation natin is food, then energy. Sa US, the biggest component of their inflation is housing. Almost half ng buong inflation figure nila is housing, only followed by food and beverage, transportation, energy, and so on. Now, housing in the US is already subsiding. Yung rent, pababa na, yung increase ng rent. Bakit? Kasi ang mahal na ng rent sa Amerika, so that's why hindi na siya umaakyat. In fact, ang akyat niya ay pabagal na ng pabagal. Okay? So that one, we do not expect that it will be hit too much by tariff. In fact, it's the opposite. And look at the third and the fourth, transportation and energy. Transportation and energy are both related to oil. And if you look at the world oil prices is going down. So you see, the biggest impact of tariff here is food and beverage, and it's going up. Talaga sobrang laki na nakit ng pagkain ng presyo sa Amerika. But this is now being, baga na-morph na siya, baga nahalo na siya because of housing and transportation and energy. Okay? So we expect inflation to go up, but it will not be as much as what people perceive. Okay? So now, in fact, the Fed, there's now a 71% probability that interest rate will be cut again this December. So you see, itong nakikita nyo 71 dyan, so nilakihan ko kung malalabo mata nyo, so nag-iiba yan. So a month ago, it was at 95. 95 sure, bababa yan. At bababa ng interest rate. But 3 weeks ago, bumaba all the way down to 50% only. Guess what? Now it's going up. In fact, hindi ko na lang napalitan yung slide ko, but last night, it's already at 85% probability that the US will cut interest rate once again. So again, when interest rate is cut, anong asset that will do well? Bonds will do well. Okay? So even in the long run, kung hindi man mangyari this December, it will spill over in 2026. So the general direction of the interest rate in the US today is at 4%. Ang pinaka-general direction niyan is to go to 3%. No, medyo may technicality yon. Ang tawag namin doon is the normal. Yun ang pinaka-normalized na interest dapat. Now, if we are at 4% now, and we expect in the long run, it will go to 3%, that means that there's a cut of about 1%. Okay? If the interest rate get cut by 1%, the bond will go up by 7%. Now, hindi ko na masyadong iisipin na bababa ng 1% kasi medyo malayo yon. Isipin ko lang, what if nag-cut lang siya ng 4%, ay ng twice lang, 0.5 lang kinat niya. That will already give you an increase in bond price by 4%. Meaning yung value ng bond mo akit na ng 4%. Wala pa dyan yung interest na nakukuha nyo. Palaging iniisip natin pag bond, interest. Hindi. Yung bonds, yung presyo ng bond umaakit, baba din yon. Here we're saying bond will go up by 4% plus the interest that you're gonna get. So for example, if you invest in high yield bonds, a typical government bond will give you about 6.9% plus the upside of 4%. Guess what? That's about close to 10. That's about 10%. That's a fairly decent return considering that it's a bond. Correct? So choose your poison. It can be the super safe, from developed market all the way to emerging market. But the biggest upside is when interest rate goes down, you have that windfall that you will earn on the upside of the bond prices. And that's what you want to capitalize. Okay? And if you look at what's happening now, there's about 10 trillion US dollars that in money market. Kasama na dun yung pera ni Warren Buffett. 10 trillion US dollars. So bakit sila nasa money market ngayon? Because sa totoo lang, hindi nila kailangan mag-invest sa stocks, hindi nila kailangan mag-invest sa long term or sa even sa bond. Kasi even at money market, they're already earning decent. Kita sila ng 3%, pwede na. But remember this, pag pababa na yung interest, dati kumikita ka ng 4, 5, okay ka lang eh. Ngayon, 3 na lang. Next time, 2 na lang. Next time, 1 na lang. Anong gagawin mo? Di ba mag-iisip ka na? Isipin mo na, naku, pababa yung return ko. Ano ba pwede kong gawin? Mag-iisip ka na kung saan ka lilipat. Where can you get a better return? So JP Morgan forecasted, kapag nagbaba ng 0.75% ang market, ang money market, there will be about $2 trillion lalabas sa money market and will now look for different investments. It can be stocks, but I'm already telling you, chances are a big part of that will go to the bond market because the money market and bond market ang mas related, mas magpinsan. Okay? So let's talk about dollars. We expect dollars to continue to weaken. So sabi ko sa inyo kanina, tontuan naman kayo, di ba? Unfortunately, we expect that to weaken because we expect interest rate to be cut. So you see, ang pinaka-determinant nyo, palagi nyo isipin, magaling ka sa, isa lang kailangan mo magaling, alam mo na kung ano mangyari. Alam mo lang kung ano mangyari sa interest rate, alam mo na kung ano mangyari sa lahat ng investment. Sa dollars, sa peso, sa bond, sa stocks, lahat. Basta alam mo the direction of interest rate. So you see, if interest rate is going down, so ang dollars yung interest rate bumagsak, ang currency niya nagdi-depreciate. So example, if peso nag-cut siya ng interest rate, expect mo yung peso magdi-depreciate. So very easy, para malaman mo if peso or dollar will appreciate, all you need to follow is the interest rate. So we are forecasting US will cut twice, so therefore we expect the US dollars to weaken. Okay? So ito yung ina-expect natin na rate cut. Fed will be 0.5, ECB 0.25, BOE 0.5. The only one that will increase its interest rate is actually Japan kasi nga dahil sa inflation nila ngayon. China has almost zero inflation, but the problem is their local consumption is very weak. So we expect magka-cut din sila ng interest rate to prop up economy again or activities. And Philippines, we expect also 0.5. Okay? So ito, ginawa to ng son ko, kaya I wanna make sure that I always show it kasi para hindi siya magtampo sa akin. So ang ginawa dito ng anak ko, ni-research niya lahat ng Big Mac sa buong mundo. So in-online niya, hindi naman niya pinuntahan, okay? So tiningnan niya, magkano kung bibili ako ng Big Mac sa Amerika, magkano kung bibili ako sa Japan, magkano kung bibili ako sa Philippines. Okay? So just to give you an example, how do you read this? If I buy a Big Mac in the US, it's $5.70. If you buy it in the Philippines, it's 179 pesos, or it's only about $3. So that means in terms of peso and dollars, our peso is very depreciated compared to the US dollars. If I use the Big Mac index, the peso should only be at 31 pesos. Now, I'm not saying that it will hit 31. Please, wag kayong umasa doon. Okay? So, ang sinasabi ko lang, I just wanted to put in context that in relation to almost all the currency in the world, US dollar is overvalued. That's why we expect that it will depreciate. Okay? So, okay, so let's bring it all together. So, this now our conclusion. So, we're expecting the US market to continue to drive profit. So, we expect na paakyat pa rin siya. In fact, we're looking about 7,200. But again, I just like to caution everybody, 2026 will be a much volatile period compared to 2025. Bakit? Kasi ito yung period na parang magulating ka. Di ba? Yung madali ka na magulat, di ba? So anytime na may bad news, I promise you the market will react exaggeratingly. If there's a good news, the market will go up exaggeratingly. So you will expect 2026 to be much volatile. Okay? China, we expect that they may not win the AI race now, but for the medium term, no, China is in a very good position. I'm not expecting, I'm not saying that put all your money in China, but consider investing or adding a part of your portfolio in the China market. Okay? Fixed income, high yield, investment grade, we expect will both benefit as interest rate goes down. Okay? Currency, we expect dollar to weaken, euro, yen, and yuan to strengthen. Peso, neutral to slight weaken. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope this has been a good 40 minutes learning to everybody. No, I understand there will be a Q&A later, and I'll be more than happy to answer your question. Again, this is Medvin Esteban.